What's good, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. You already know it's your host Bando, and we are back to talk about the fate of this light heavyweight division. Not only does it seem like the most cursed division in UFC history,
that shit garbage,
but again, we are back at stage one, where we are in a situation where our champion might not even be able to be our champion again. So let's waste no time. Let's get into it. Let's smoke. You know, I always wondered how many people are actually joining me and having a session. So if you are joining me and smoking any type of thing, if you ripping the Benjamin, if you smoking a doink, a blunt, a bowl, a bong, it doesn't matter. Comment session right down below. But welcome back. Like I said, we talking about the light heavyweight division. Why does this division seem like it just has a dark black cloud over it and it's never going to go away? Anybody else feel that way? My beef with the light heavyweight division is every time we get to a point where it seems like we have something going, something happens, and it's like the division gets revamped again. New top five, not really super relevant fighters, not really big fan favorite fighters. It's just in a weird position right now, right? Remember when Magomed Ankalaev beat Alex? Everybody was like, damn, Alex need to get this belt back because Alex going to lose the aura. The division's going to be boring. It's really cool when you hear your intro music that you've been using on one of the boom bap things. But anyways, it got boring. It got stale. Everybody was like, damn, we need Alex to come back and get the W. And for the light heavyweight division to have the interest that it needed, it low-key needed Yuri. And no disrespect to Carlos Ulberg, because it was a fantastic win. It really was. I mean, he locked in when most guys probably would have crumbled in that position. He locked in and ended up getting the win. Still got the W, walked out as champion. But here's the problem. We can't overlook the fact that Carlos Ulberg got injured, which means our champion is out, which means 90% chance this belt's going to get flipped. This belt's going to get flipped. There's going to be an interim. This is going to go vacant, whatever the case may be. There's going to be another two guys fighting for a light heavyweight championship sometime within the next 6 months. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. What bugs me is we've gone through so many different situations and problems with the light heavyweight division. Honestly, I feel like Jon Jones was the one that brought the curse upon the light heavyweight division, because I feel like the downfall really started with him. Fights were good back in the day with the light heavyweight division. Shit was semi-normal. Now it seems like, all right, so Jon becomes champion, has a nice little reign, gets popped for the cocaine, the hit and run, all the different stuff, right? We all know the Jon Jones history, right? All the different stuff. DC getting the belt. DC reigning over everybody in that division till Jon comes back and beats him, and Jon comes back, beats him on steroids, and now we're back to stage one where DC's again fighting for an interim belt or a vacant belt, and Jon's got to get clean, and then it comes back, and it was a constant cycle of just and then we get to a position where no more Jon Jones, no more Daniel Cormier, right? The light heavyweight division is starting to change, right? Jan Blachowicz was champion. Not somebody anybody really expected to be champion. We thought after the performance that Dominic Reyes put on Jon Jones, we thought Dominic Reyes was going to be the one to go out there, beat Blachowicz, and get the belt, right? But now you had a new twist to it. Okay, Jan Blachowicz is champion. Cool. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? He's champion. Nothing crazy. Wasn't super exciting, but wasn't super boring. First defense against Glover, ends up getting beat by Glover. Glover makes a statement, makes history by being one of the oldest champions in UFC history. You know, fantastic, right? Everybody like, you know, is going to remember those types of moments and stuff like that. So that's a positive in the light heavyweight division, right? Then you have Glover versus Yuri. Yuri and Glover put on a fantastic fight. Go back and watch that if you've never seen that. Go back and watch Yuri Petroska versus Glover Teixeira. That fight was fantastic. It was wild. It was crazy, but definitely a fight that's worth watching. And then Yuri becomes champion and ends up having to vacate the belt because of the injury. So now we're sitting like, okay, we need to know what's going to happen. Who's next in line? At the time, Magomed Ankalaev was climbing up the ranks. He became number one contender, right? So Yuri vacates the belt, and the opening becomes Magomed Ankalaev versus Jan Blachowicz. It's interesting, right? So they get the shot. They end the fight in a draw. And Dana White was so pissed off that he made a fight that night. Dana don't make fights that night unless he is pissed. You got to really piss him off for him to go ahead and book a fight. Or you got to make him extremely happy for him to book you in another fight like right away. But it ended in a draw, and he was pissed because the way that it ended in a draw wasn't a draw of an extremely close matchup. It was a draw of a fight that Jan Blachowicz was winning and just abandoned basically the entire reason he was winning going into the later rounds. And ends in a draw. Dana White immediately makes Jamal Hill versus Glover Teixeira for the vacant belt. Right? We're still sitting. Nobody's champion, right? Nobody became champion on a draw. It's a vacant belt. You can't have a champion on a draw. So you gave two guys an opportunity and they fumbled the bag. So you give another two guys an opportunity and see what they do. Jamal Hill ended up getting the W over Glover Teixeira in again another great fight. You know, Glover Teixeira was putting on bangers for a little while. But another great fight. Jamal Hill becomes champion. So now you're like, okay, maybe this is like a new guard type of thing that's about to change over. But at the same time, you got Alex Pereira, who just took his loss against Israel Adesanya and decides this weight cut to 185 is too much. I'm gonna move up to 205, and I'm gonna test my strength, see where it's at. Ends up getting the fight with Jan Blachowicz. Wins a tight decision. It wasn't like an amazing win, but he won a tight decision, right? And that's all it took. That's all it took for him to be fighting for a belt right after that. So, if I remember correctly, and I want to make sure that I'm doing this. So, yeah, Jamal Hill had to vacate because he got injured. And he said, you know, in a very respectful way that Yuri vacated and gave somebody else a shot when he was injured. So Jamal wanted to do the same thing. And he did. Alex Pereira fights Yuri Petroska for the vacant belt. Alex knocks out Yuri. All right. Now we got Alex Pereira, 205 Alex Pereira. This is going to be interesting. Poatan is born. Shama has really just started to rise. Like, things are hitting now. So now it almost feels like, okay, we got a home for the light heavyweight division, and the home is Alex Pereira. 1, he's exciting. 2, he's never turning down fights. 3, he fights consistently, right? Let's not forget where he was fighting 3-4 times a year. I mean, he fights consistently. So you got like the perfect storm for the light heavyweight division, exactly what the light heavyweight division has been needing since like the late 2000s before John Jones was champion, right? Like, it's been needed, right? And then Alex goes on. Let's see. Alex beats Jamal at UFC 300, beats Yuri again, beats Khalil Roundtree, loses to Magomed Ankalaev, comes back, beats Magomed Ankalaev again, or not again, fights him again and beats him this time in great fashion. The rematch was not even a question. There was never going to be a third rematch after the way that Alex took care of the problem in round one quickly. No, just nothing to it, right? Alex decides that he wants to move up to heavyweight. And I promise you, I've been saying this. He did not move up to heavyweight after being offered Ciryl Gane. I don't care what anybody says. That man did not get a contract that says, hey, we want you to move up to heavyweight. We're going to give you this giant paycheck for you to fight Ciryl Gane. No, we're going to give you this giant paycheck to fight Jon Jones. They pushed him up to heavyweight with that fight in mind, or possibly even Tom Aspinall. But Ciryl Gane was not the guy who brought Alex Pereira up to the heavyweight division. So that just wanted to get that out the way. Like that had to, come on, we're not dumb, man. You think that a man is going to vacate a belt in the division that he is most dominant in to go up to another division to try to get another belt against somebody who's not even a champion? The man was an interim champion for what, 5 months? He was never a champion. He fought for the championship multiple times, and he fumbled the bag, right? And I'm not here trying to dog Ciryl. I'm here just stating the fact that Alex Pereira did not move up with Ciryl Gane being the guy in mind. I promise you, Jon Jones or Tom Aspinall was promised to him, and that's why he moved up. I bet you the original main event for the White House was meant to be Alex Pereira and Jon Jones, and they just couldn't get it done. And everybody's like, oh, but Dana said this. Dana, you guys believe everything Dana White says? Stop it. Stop. But anyways, Alex Pereira moves up the heavyweight division, has to vacate the belt. So we have another championship matchup between Yuri Petroska, who just is stayed floating at the top of the division, getting wins against anybody you put him against, except for Alex Pereira. So he stayed floating at the top of the division. And then you got Carlos Ulberg, who's been a dark horse of the division. He's been on a rise. He's was on an 8-fight win streak going into this 9-fight win streak now. So it was a perfect storm, right, of two guys that definitely needed to meet eventually. They were, if it wasn't for the belt, they were going to meet as number one contender to see who was going to fight for the belt. There was no other, whatever the case may be, that's what was going to happen. Those two were going to fight, and this just happened to be for the vacant UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. And Carlos Ulberg gets it done in one. And as he gets it done in one, he shouldn't have been able to get it done in one. Realistically, Yuri should have got it done in one. Yuri allowed that fight to go on by claiming that he was being merciful. I don't know if he was being merciful. I don't know what he was. It's Yuri Petroska. You never know anything of what's going on in there, and it sucked to see him lose that way, right? And you can't take nothing away from Carlos Ulberg. No matter what, he was injured, right? He got injured, stayed in there, chucked that left hand. He knew that Yuri would come in. Yuri likes to come in and explode, right? Chin out, wide open. He caught him. Got the finish, right? But he's also injured now too. So you got Yuri, who just took a loss. A lot of people aren't going to want to see Yuri get another title shot again until he grabs some wins from some other guys. And now you have your champion who's injured, who's probably not going to be able to fight for a little while. So what do you do? What do you do? I think Paulo Costa's win against Azamat Murzakanov was major because Paulo Costa could at least be exciting. He could sell a fight. He's somebody that can entertain, and I think people would want to see him in a position of fighting for a belt again. But right now that division is stale. Very stale. Very, very stale. Alex Pereira was holding that division up. I'm surprised he doesn't have a broken back from carrying that division on his back. Honestly, him and Yuri have been carrying this division on their back for a minute, and it just doesn't have the excitement. And when you go in there and you get a new champion and the new champion gets injured in the fight, you're still sitting with no excitement. So it's a very tough division right now, right? It's very tough in just being able to get exciting fights, knowing who your top guys are, knowing who's gonna last in the position, it's a pain. It's a real pain. I couldn't imagine trying to book light heavyweight fights right now. It'd be a fucking pain. But that's it for this episode. I just wanted to come through and talk about basically the fate of the light heavyweight division because we don't know what's next. I think Paulo Costa versus Khalil Roundtree would be a great fight, whether it's for some sort of title or whatever. I'd probably not, but that would be a great light heavyweight matchup. It would be explosive. It would be fun between two former middleweights. So I would love to see that fight. But it's weird. The top five of the division is so scrambled up right now. I don't even know who would fight who. But like I said, either way, that's it for this episode. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. And also hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode is out. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Your boy Bando is out.
On the scale of 1 to 10, I'm like a